Attention duelists. It is Monday. It is a watch and learn day. This is probably going to be a shorter one because I was very tired, so I slept in a lot. I'm going to have to go to work soon. But rain, snow, sleet, or the terror of being alive in this world, the watch and learn will come on a Monday. So we have the duelist that we are able to see their cards is playing Pendulum Sorcerers, and their opponent is playing a 60 card deck. The 60 card deck does absolutely nothing. Pendulum player activates Supreme King Gate 0, and then Duelist Alliance to add Pendulum Call to their hand. They will then activate Pendulum Call, discarding their Double Iris Magician to add Black Fang Magician and Harmonizing Magician to their hand. They will set Black Fang in the Pendulum Scale, and then they will perform a Pendulum Summon. Harmonizing Magician is summoned, and it summons out a White Wing Magician by its own effect. Then those two will overlay to make Time Star Magician. Time Star Magician will detach a unit to add Purple Poison Magician to their hand. They will set one back row. They'll enter the battle phase, and their opponent will use Gizmek Orochi to summon itself. They'll move to main phase 2 and attempt to use Raigeki, but their opponent will chain a Hop-Eared Squadron. Hop-Eared Squadron summons itself, and then will sync with Gizmek Orochi into Sword Soul Supreme Sovereign Cheng Ying. The opponent will attempt to destroy Cheng Ying with Raigeki, but Cheng Ying will protect itself by banishing a card. Then Cheng Ying's effect will go off to banish the opponent's Time Star Magician from the field and their Double Iris in the graveyard. Pendulum player will then set for Poison Magician and pass. Opponent's turn, they will normal summon an Effect Veiler, and then use Gizmek Orochi's effect to banish more cards to summon itself back. This makes Cheng Ying even stronger and will activate its effect again. The opponent will chain Threatening Roar. They will not be getting O-Code this turn. Cheng Ying will banish Harmonizing Magician and the Black Fang. Then Effect Veiler and Gizmek Orochi are going to sync together to make Virtual World QB Shen. They will then tribute their opponent's set monster, which was a Purple Poison Magician, for a Godarla the Mystery Dust Kaiju, and then activate the effect of Bigfoot in their hand. Bigfoot is destroyed by its own effect, which will destroy their opponent's face-up Supreme King Gate 0. But because the card was destroyed, Astrograph Sorcerer will summon itself, allow him to add a card to hand, which is another Gate 0. Passes back to the Pendulum player. They draw a Dark Hole for turn. They're going to turn their monster to defense mode. Their opponent will use Gizmek Orochi again to summon itself back, banishing more cards to use Cheng Ying's effect, who will banish Astrograph and White Wing Magician. Passes turn. Moves into battle. Player swings with Gizmek Orochi over Godarla. Cheng Ying swings direct. And QB Shen for game. When he completely passed his turn, I did not think he had anything, but he really had some stuff waiting in the wings, didn't he? What a twist. Alright, we have a Blue Eyes player going up against some sort of worms. They'll use Vishuda's effect to summon itself and then link it off into Monk of the Tenyi. Then they will use Long Wan's effect, pitching a Sword Soul card to summon itself and a token. The token and Long Wan are going to sync together to make Baron de Fleur. They will set one back row and pass. Goes to the Blue Eyes player. Not a great hand. They'll summon the White Stone of Ancients. Their opponent will activate Max C. They will attempt to end their turn, but the opponent will activate Sword Soul Blackout, which will destroy their Monk of the Tenyi and 2 set cards, which were both Ultimate Fusion. Opponent's turn, they summon Taya, use its effect to banish the Sword Soul card they discarded. And it gets a token. The banished card will modify the level of the token to make it 5, and then they will sync them together for QB Shen. Sword Soul Tile will send a worm to the graveyard. Kibi Shen Shen will destroy the White Stone of Ancients and banish it. And will return it to the graveyard when Baron de Fleur attacks. Passes turn. Blue Eyes player's turn. They draw another White Stone of Ancients. They will summon Ash Blossom and run it into Baron de Fleur. Sword Soul wins over Blue Eyes. Brick Eyes, really. Now we're watching from the perspective of a Sword Soul player. Clearly their opponent could see their hand too, and they surrendered. Actually, this is saying the duel's a 1 due to time limit. Disgusting to make their opponent sit there for all that time. Did the time change rules go over through yet, or... I don't know. Problems for the future. And I'm a man of the present. Another Blue Eyes player. They have someone main with Eyes of Blue, set 2, and pass. Opponent's turn. Activate Pot of Extravagance. Banish 6, draw 2. They will reveal Lord of Heavenly Prison, set 5, and pass. Player draws for turn, draws the Blue Eyes White Dragon. Attempts to go to end phase, their opponent will activate Elixir of Scarlet Sanguine, which will summon the Eldritch Golden Lord. Passes back to the set 5. They'll activate Lord of Heavenly Prison again. Use the Eldritch in the Graveyard's effect to set Conquistador of the Golden Land. Moving into battle, Eldlord will attempt to swing at the main with Eyes of Blue. Her effect will activate, but will be stopped by a Solemn Strike. Eldritch will then redirect its attack to be a direct attack. Passes to the Blue Eyes player. They will summon another maiden with Eyes of Blue, and then the opponent will activate Conquistador, which will destroy the maiden. Because Conquistador was activated, Lord of Heavenly Prison will summon itself and then set a Pot of Duality. The opponent will activate Skill Drain, which is not really going to do much against Eldritch. And Lord of Heavenly Prison's already on board. Passes turn, player activates Pot of Duality, reveals a Solemn Strike, another Lord of Heavenly Prison, and Summon Limit. They will take the Solemn Strike. They set 2 more. They attempt to swing direct. Their opponent will activate Mirror Force. Mirror Force will destroy Eldritch and Lord of Heavenly Prison. Passes to the Blue Eyes player. They draw trade in. They will activate it, pitching the Blue Eyes Abyss Dragon to draw 2. But Blue Eyes continues to Brick Eyes. He does not have anything he can use. The opponent will use Eldritch's effect, sending a card away to add Eldritch back to hand from the graveyard, and then summon itself with boosted stats and can't be destroyed. They'll switch Conquistador to attack mode. They'll swing with Eldritch, but he will get Magic Cylindered. Dealing 35 to himself, Conquistador will swing direct for 500. Blue Eyes player has more life points, but his opponent has much more resources to use. And he draws another Blue Eyes White Dragon for turn. Nothing the Blue Eyes player can do. He will set 1 and pass. Eldritch player moves to battle, swings with Conquistador, and then Eldritch. Blue Eyes player is down to 1,000. Hey, Respawn Boy. Blue Eyes player draws Waking the Dragon and sets it. Their opponent will activate Guardian of Golden Land, just to have another monster on board, I'd wager. They will set 1 and then activate Dimensional Barrier, declaring Synchro Monster. Doesn't matter, Conquistador and Guardian will swing for gain. Eldritch, a master of resource management, beats Brick Eyes. I would say Eldritch Floodgate is super annoying. Eldritch itself I have respect for, because I do it. We have a, looks like Dragon Maid versus Numeron. Player will summon Dragon, or Chamber Dragon Maid. Opponent will chain a Maxine response. Maxi will resolve, as will Chamber. Chamber adds Dragon Maid Tidying to hand. They set one and pass. Yeah, I don't understand the red reboot ban. During the end phase, player will pitch Numeron Wall to set Numeron Network. They will use Godarla Tributing Chamber. Numeron Network will send Numeron Calling to bring out the 4 gates. Gate 1 will swing into Godarla, as will Gate 2. Gate 3 swings over Godarla. And Gate 4 swings for 8,000. Numeron continues to be the fun game to watch. Sarcasm. I think there are pros and cons of this being a best of one format. My biggest complaint or reason why it shouldn't be a best of 3 is because some matches can go really long, and sometimes you can just be disconnected. So if you're in game 2 and it gets disconnected, or if you're in game 2 and it's been, I don't know, 20 minutes, it's probably not the most fun. But here we have a Salad player. Salaman great. I think they're just Salaman okay. They summon Flame Buffalo and are going to link it off into Phalanx. Yes, I do believe that you are correct, Respawn Boy. They should just have the choice of different formats, as opposed to mandatory best of ones. Phalanx and Buffalo's effects will activate, as will the Paralog Seed in hand, chaining. And they will quick play, activate Salaman Great Circle. Circle will add Gazelle to hand. Paralog Seed will summon itself. Phalanx will add Sanctuary to hand. And Buffalo will pitch Foxy to draw 2. Paralog Seed will attempt to summon its brother, but Infinite Impermanence says no. Gazelle chains to the Imperm. Gazelle is summoned. Imperm does negate, which does give Paralog Seed its full stats. Gazelle will send away a Salamangreat Rage. Player will activate Sanctuary. I think Salamangrates are not at full power yet, but overall, I would rather go up against Code Talkers than Salamangrates. Player uses Salamangrate Fox's effect, discarding Jack Jaguar to summon Foxy. Then Gazelle and Foxy are going to make Mirage Stalio. Stalio was its effect, detaching a unit. But Mirage Stalio will be hit by a second Imperm. Phalanx and Mirage Stalio are going to link together. I was just planning on watching today. I don't have a lot of time because I'm going to have to go to work soon. Player makes a Sunlight Wolf and using his 2 monsters and uses Sunlight Wolf to make Sunlight Wolf. Wolf will add Rage back to hand. He will set that. Jack Jaguar will return a Wolf to the extra deck to summon itself back. And Flame Buffalo is added back to hand. Then Jack Jaguar will be used to make Lingery Bow. Salamangreat player ends turn. They have an okay board up. Their opponent's going to summon Tri-Brigade Kit and link her off for Salamangreat Almirage. Kit's effect will then activate, sending away Nerval. Nerval's effect will then add a Karas to hand. Karas will then use its effect, pitching a Mercurier to summon itself. But then the opponent will activate Salamangreat Rage. The opponent will use Almirage to protect their Karas. So Rage fizzles. Karas will then banish Mercurier and the Nerval to summon out Farragut. Farragut will add an Albion to hand. Albion will then send away a Branded Sword. Branded Sword is then banishing itself from the graveyard to return the Mercurier that is banished to the hand. Farragut will then use its effect for an additional normal summon of Nerval. Nerval and Karas are going to link together to make Bearbrom. Bearbrom's effect will make him pitch 2. Let me just make sure I'm clocking this correctly. Yes, it does discard 2 to summon back their Tri-Brigade Nerval. Nerval's effect activates again. Actually, Nerval's going to use its effect to banish to special summon Shirag, Ominous Omen. Shirag's effect will then activate. Sunlight Wolf will chain its effect in response. Sunlight Wolf adds Gazelle back to hand. Ominous Omen will banish the Sunlight Wolf. Then the player is going to link his Farragut, his Ominous Omen, and his Nerval to make Access Code Talker. Access Code Talker will target Shirag. Shirag's effect will activate in response to being sent to the graveyard, as will Farragut. Farragut will let him add 1 and send 1 back to the deck. Shirag will add a Fractale to hand. An Access Code will gain stats, going up to 6,300. Access Code will banish Almirah to destroy 1. Banish Farragut to destroy 2. Banish Shirag to destroy 3. Bearbrom swings for 17. An Access Code for a perfect 63 for exact damage. I know I said I'd rather deal with Salamangreats than Code Talkers. I'd rather deal with either of them than Tri-Brigade. Alright, Skystriker player, running Slash Draw. They summon Ace Rose. Rose will turn to Shizuku. I think the Despia hate recently is coming from the fact that Despia is the strongest it's going to get, at least for a good long while. And people are mad that they aren't just going into Masquerade and trying to tax their opponent out, and now have actual power behind them with Mirror Jade. So people are mad that Despia's got better. At least that's my review of it. They will set Widow Anchor. Shizuku's effective Infiz will add a Mobilize Engage to hand. Pass it to the opponent. Their opponent will activate Branded Opening, pitching Polymerization to summon Alibur the Jester. Jester will attempt to use the effect. Player will activate Widow Anchor in response. Alibur is negated. Player activates Theater of the Branded. Summons a second Alibur. Fuses the Alibur who was negated with the Ad Libitum from their hand to make Masquerade. Speaking of the Tax Dragon, Ad Libitum uses its effect to target Alibur and summon it back to the field. One Alibur swings over Shizuku. One Alibur swings direct. And Masquerade swings direct. Skystriker players at 3,500. They draw Afterburners for a turn, and they're going to activate it. Attempting to destroy Masquerade, but the opponent will activate Branded Opening. They'll then use Mobilize Engage to add Ray to hand. They will summon Ray, and they're going to properly link her off to summon Kagari. Kagari's effect will be another tax. Kagari returns Mobilize Engage to hand, which they will then activate. They're down to 1,100. They add a Widow Anchor to hand, which they will then activate. Targeting Masquerade. Masquerade is taken as on their side of the field. They activate Slash Draw, pitching Wings. They draw Slash Draw. They blow up the board and deal 10,000 damage? Hang on, let me clock what just happened there real quick. They activated Slash Draw, discarding the one card which was Eagle Booster. Then they sent cards from the top of their deck to the graveyard, equal to the number of cards their opponent controls, then draw one and show it. Cards sent away, there were 3 cards sent away because they had the 2 Aliburs and the field spell, which made them draw Slash Draw. Then, because the card they drew was Slash Draw, it is sent to the graveyard. They destroy as many cards on the field as possible, which was 5, then do 2,000 damage for each, which was 10,000 damage. I don't know how they got the exact amount of cards sent away to get their other Slash Draw, but it's an impressive comeback. That was super luck. In regards to your comment that I didn't address yet, Yes, people being mad about not being able to play through interruptions are absolutely the people that win from their opponent not being able to play through interruptions. They're mad because another deck can do what they do. We have a Gren Maju deck. One player completely passed turn. Player draws Imperm. Uses Pot of Desires. Draws 2. Summons Gren Maju at 4,000. Attempts to swing. Their opponent summons Smoke Mosquito, which makes them take half damage. They set 1 and pass. They summon Alpha Master of Beasts, who will attempt to bounce cards back to the hand, but Alpha will be impermed. I don't think this Bee Trooper is rather a hard second deck. Smoke Mosquito will attempt to use its effect, targeting Alpha. Player will activate Max C. Max C will resolve. Smoke Mosquito's effect will activate, making itself the same level as Alpha, as a level 8. Player will then reveal a Bigfoot in their hand. Bigfoot will be discarded by its own effect and will destroy Gren Maju. Alpha and the level 8 Smoke Mosquito are going to overlay into Draglubion. Draglubion will use its effect, detaching a unit to summon a Numeron Dragon. Numeron Dragon will use its effect, going up to 9,000, and swinging for game. Level 8 Turbo versus Gren Maju go second. And oddly enough, in a battle of go second, the player who went first won. Alright, we have Mech Knight's Nightmare. Mech Nightmare, I guess I'll call it. Along with Crusadias and World Keys. Is this a roleplay deck for World Legacy? Alright, let's see what you do. Their opponent summons Neospace Connector, which will bring out Aqua Dolphin, and then they'll activate Space Gift, allowing them to draw a card. Aqua Dolphin will pitch Neos, and will pop the Ibly in his opponent's hand. Aqua Dolphin and Neospace Connector then going to link together to make Isolde, Two Tales of Noble Knights. Isolde will add Elemental Hero Liquid Soldier to hand. Isolde will then use her effect, sending away one equipped spell to summon Infernoble Knight Renault. Instant Neospace will then return to the hand by Renaud's effect, not Renault. Effect of Infernoble Knight's Durandal will activate, targeting Renaud. This will add a Fire Flint Lady to hand. Love that card. Fire Flint Lady will summon herself. Then Renaud and Isolde will both link together to make Verte Anaconda. Verte will use its effect, sending away Neos Fusion to summon Brave Neos. The Shadow Mist, who was used as material, will add a Vision Hero Vion to hand. Then player will activate Instant Neospace, equipping it onto Brave Neos. Brave Neos does not return to the deck, so Instant Neospace is not really necessary, but it will allow him to summon an Elemental Hero Neos if Brave Neos is somehow removed from the field. The opponent's turn, they draw World Legacy World Chalice for turn, and the opponent will immediately shotgun a Max C, which they know they don't have to worry about because Aqua Dolphin already checked for Nash Blossom and there wasn't one. Player will activate World Legacy Key, which will its effect is you can target one of your banished Mech Knights or World Legacy monsters, add it to your hand. Negate any trap effect activates on the same column as a Mech Knight monster you control. This really only serves to fill out the column of Verte. And then Mech Knight Purple Nightfall will be summoned to that column. Purple Nightfall will attempt to use its effect, but will be negated by Ash Blossom. Purple Nightfall will move to battle and swing over the Verte Anaconda. Main phase 2, pass turn. Neos player's turn. Fire Flint Lady will use her effect, sending herself to the graveyard to summon Vion. Vion's effect will then activate. Sorry, let me reclock that. Vion used its own effect to send another Vion to the graveyard. Then it used its activation effect to banish the sent Vion to add a polymerization back to hand. Player summons Liquid Soldier. Liquid Soldier will target the Shadow Mist in the graveyard, summon her back to the field. Because she was special summoned, she adds a mask change to the hand. Player then activates Polymerization, fusing Vion and Liquid Soldier to make Elemental Hero Sunrise. Sunrise will then use its effect, adding a Miracle Fusion to hand. They will then activate that Miracle Fusion, fusing Liquid Soldier and Vion again, making Absolute Zero. Yes, they did. Purple Nightfall will use its effect to banish itself to add a blue sky to hand. Moving into battle, Shadow Mist will attack. Sunrise will use its effect to pop the World Legacy Key. Then the Neos player will swing with all of his monsters for game. An actual Neospatian hero deck. That's rare. Shame we didn't get to see the lore-accurate deck more. Still, a ray of hope in this dark world, that there is still nerds out there playing this game for fun. Oh, now we got something gross. We have a stun deck. They summon Fossil Diny Pachycephalo, put Mirror Shield on it, set a Storming Mirror Force, and pass. That is disgusting. Their opponent summons Planet Pathfinder, uses Planet Pathfinder, adding a Numeron Network, and pass turn. They can't use Numeron Network to special summon because of Pachycephalo. Player draws Feather Duster, moves into battle. Pachycephalo swings. Passes turn. This is going to be a slow burn. Their opponent will set one and pass. They draw Pot of Duality, which they will activate. They'll add Floodgate Trap Hole to their hand, which they will then set. Pachycephalo will swing and will destroy Planet Pathfinder. What did your stats go down to when you swung? Oh, your stats went down to 1100 because you always be made just 100 stronger, even if you're already stronger. I guess that makes Moon Mirror Shield balanced. The biggest consolation here is that it's a Numeron player who's getting stun slapped. Player summons Banisher of Radiance. Banisher of Radiance will swing direct after Pachycephalo destroys a Maxi. Passes turn. Player has to discard one. It's banished due to Banisher. It is Lava Golem. Player draws Twin Twisters. Moves to battle. Banisher and Pachycephalo both swing. Player activates Numeron Network. Just cuz. Passes turn. Stun player moves to battle. Swings with the Banisher and Pachycephalo. I guess we'll call that game. Yeah, Raigeki at 2, or just more Lightning Storms, more Dark Holes. Yeah, it's painful what they're at. This is just a funny hand. Player opens with 3 Maxis, and they are playing Sword Soul Tenyi. I am disgusted. Have fun without playing Halki Firebricks. Their opponent activates Dragon Shrine, which will be hit by an Ash Blossom. They will then set the scales with Abyss Actor Curtain Raiser. Curtain Raiser will attempt to summon itself, and the opponent will activate Max C. Max C will be hit by a Called By. I hate Sword Soul Tenyi because it violates the summoning rules by being hyper efficient. I don't like my opponent going +3 off of normal summon Moye. Adventure Tenny was also a problem. I don't like it more than the other stuff. Hulk and Auroradon are all problems. I don't like my opponent just having Moye and me trying to stop that, and maybe it works, and maybe they can't get another summon out. Because Sword Soul's requirements are just, oh, do you have a worm in your hand? Not even another Sword Soul, a worm. Which is just hyper easy for them to do. It's like, all right, cool. You have summoned a monster, which summons a token. You will then send those away to make a big boss, and that lets you draw and add a card. So now you have a body on board. You got back the one card used from your hand, and you get to pick a card to add to your hand. So sorry, it wasn't +3, it was +2. But now they have a big thing on board, and the card they added was Long Wan, who's going to capitalize on the other card they used to make the first token. So that means they're either going into Baron or Supreme Sovereign, which are just more huge problems and are hyper efficient 1-for-1s. So now my opponent still has 4 cards in their hand and 2 huge bodies. One's a monster negate, one I have to destroy twice in a turn to make it die. And it's just hyper annoying because there's still 4 other cards in their hand to play with. Player summons Duel Sulfur-Cord Cutia, who adds Gracia. Activates Sulfur-Cord Elegance, which sets their pendulum scale with Sulfur-Cords. Curtain Raiser and Cutia are going to link together to make Electromite. Hey, Shotgun. I like that frog. They're then going to Pendulum Summon, summoning back Gracia and Curtain Raiser. Gracia adds Musica to hand. Oh, hey, cool, Jack Frost. I played some Persona in my day. Electromite sent away Astrograph, who was then added back to hand after the other cutie is destroyed. Electromite's effect will activate, as will Astrograph, summoning itself. Astrograph hits the board. Adds a cutie to hand. Electromite's effect will activate, adding drawing 1. It'll link again, making IP Masquerena. They set another QD in the scale, set 1, and pass to their opponent. I like Sulfur Cords. Wish I was better with them. They will start by using Imperm on IP Masquerena, who will use her effect immediately, because it is a quick effect. There goes that Imperm. Linking all their monsters together. Not all, but their linked monsters. They will make Avramax. They will then summon Ecclesia the Virtuous by her own effect, who will bring out Ataya. I think Ancient Warriors are a neat archetype. I like them a lot. Especially because they seem to be, not all, but heavily main deck focused, even their bigger bodies. Which, as an old school Yu-Gi-Oh player, I respect that a lot. Because I'm old. In response to the summon of Maxi, they will activate Sulfur-Cord Musica. Maxi will activate, being discarded from the hand in response to Musica, so that's all 3 of them. Maxi is negated because it was still under the effect of Called By. They'll run their own Maxi into Avramax. Yeah, Ancient Warriors gives me Fire Fist vibes. And I always thought, even if they weren't the best effects-wise, I really liked the art for Fire Fist. Oh, hey, look. So, let's take this as an example, because this is great. This Sword Soul player opened with Moye, Taya, Longwan, Sword Soul Emergence, and Imperm. They have 3 Sinister Sovereigns, 3 Supreme Sovereigns, Baron, 2 Chao Fang, 3 Grandmasters in their extra deck. Let's see how negative they go off of summoning. Their opponent summons Kitchen Dragon Maid, who will be immediately impermed. And this is Dragon Maid, so there goes the normal summon. Dragon Maid player sets 3 and passes. They draw Raigeki for turn, which they activate. Their opponent activates Dragon Maid Downtime to return Kitchen to their hand. Lets them add Chamber to their hand. They'll activate Sword Soul Emergence to bait out cards such as Maxi and Ash Blossom. You say this is pure Sword Soul, but let's wait and see. Because they are... Actually, you're right. There are no monks or link monsters in here. This could be pure Sword Soul, which is another thing I hate. But here's the Iris Sword Soul. They're going to use Long Wand's effect, pitching Taya. Summons itself in a token. It gets hit with Imperm, which doesn't matter because Long Wand's already on the board, so that's a misplay. Here's Supreme Sovereign. Long Wand will then deal 1200. Summon Moye, reveal the Iris Sword Soul. Summons a token. Sword Soul already has a huge consistency problem. Chishao and Moye's effects will attempt to activate. Thankfully, the Maxi challenge gave the player a Ash Blossom, which is only stopping the Moye, not the Chengying. So they'll only be stopped from drawing, not adding one of their choice. And they add Sacred Summit. They activate Sacred Summit, targeting Moye. They should have gone for Taya. They're going to swing with all of their monsters for game. Synchro is also my least favorite summoning mechanic. Right, but if they don't open Moye, they'll either have Taya or Long Wand, who also make tokens, or they could have one of the Sword Soul cards that adds a Sword Soul to their hand, or they're playing Tenyi, which is also its own problem. I don't like Sword Soul because they go against the traditional way of doing a Synchro Summon, which is you need a monster and a tuner. They make their own tuners who's at the perfect level to make 8s and 10s, which are the strongest Synchro monsters. What do we got this time? Tri-Brigade, as Ancient Warriors, as Verte. Tri-Brigade, Despia? Branded Tri-Brigade. Activates Foolish Barrel, send away Kit. Kit's effect will activate, send away Nerval. Nerval's effect will add Fractale to hand. Summons Fractale. Banishes the Kit and the Nerval to summon Bear Braum. Bear Bomb and Fractale are going to link together to make Rugal. Bear Braum from being sent to the graveyard will add Revolt to hand and send back Branded Sword. Albion the Shroud Dragon will send Branded Sword to the graveyard from the deck. Allow him to draw Nibiru. He sets Revolt and passes. Opponent activates Extravagance. Extravagance is going to get hit by the Ash Blossom. Ooh, they activate Floowandereeze and the Magnificent Map, and their opponent will activate Revolt in response. The Royal Nib is a heavy flex. Revolt summons back Nerval and Kit, not going for Shirag. Nerval and Kit make Farajit. Did not intend that to rhyme when I started that sentence. Map reveals Rabina, who will send away Empen. Rabina's effect will activate. On summon, Nerval's effect will activate, being sent to the graveyard, as will Kit. Fractales add to hand. Rabina adds Toucan. Player summons Toucan. Toucan will return the Empen from the bench to the hand. They'll then summon Eaglin. Eaglin adds Rise of the Mega Monarch. They tribute 2 to summon Empen. Empen's effect will activate, as will Rabina for being sent to the banished. Rabina is added back to hand. Empen's effect will add Floowandereeze and the Unexplored Winds. Ones will allow the player to tribute one of their own monsters and one of the opponents for Rise of the Mega Monarch, which will be the Rugalas tributed, along with the Eaglin. Razzle will then attempt to bounce Farajit. Eaglin's effect will activate in response, because the monster was summoned when it wasn't banished. Rugal's effect will activate because it was sent to the graveyard. It will just drop stats a bit. Eaglin's added back to hand. Ryza bounces Farragut and one card from their own graveyard. Then they'll get hit by Nibiru. Nibiru hits the board, as does Nibiru token. Player's going to use the Unexplored Winds, revealing M-Pen, sending it back to the deck and drawing one. Player draws Kit for turn, uses Fractale's effect, discarding itself to send away a Kit. Kit that was sent to the graveyard will send away Nerval. Nerval that was sent away will add Karas to hand. Karas will use its effect, pitching another Kit to summon itself. Then Karas will banish 3 to summon out a Karas regular, the Desperate Doom Eagle. Desperate Doom Eagle and Karas will then make Access Code Talker. Access Code Talker gains stats, banishes 1 to pop the token. Player will then swing with Access Code and Nibiru for game. Tri-Brigade beats Flow Under Ease. Alright, Dragonlink deck, running a 14-card extra deck. Their opponent summons Live Twin Kiss Kill, who brings out Lil-La. Both are going to link together for Evil Twin Kiss Kill. Evil Twin will use her effect to summon back Lil-La. Then those are going to link together to make Evil Twin Lil-La. Lil-La will then summon back Evil Twin Kiss Kill, who will allow a player to draw a card. Lil-La and Kiss Kill will then link together to make Trouble Sunny. Player then activates Sunny's Snitch to add a Kiss Kill Frost to their hand, setting 2 more back row and passing. Player draws for turn, which is Forbidden Droplet. They summon a Black Metal Dragon, and they're going to link it off into Striker Dragon. They're being taxed by Sunny Snitch. Striker Dragon's effect will activate, as will Black Metal Dragon. Player will activate Maxi in response to Black Metal Dragon's effect, but their opponent will chain an Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring to the Maxi. Then they will activate Imperm, targeting the Striker Dragon. Maxi is negated. Black Metal Dragon adds Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon to hand. Striker Dragon does not add the field spell. Player banishes the Black Metal Dragon to summon Wyver Buster. Then Wyver Buster and Striker Dragon are going to link together to make Romulus. Romulus will use its effect, adding a card, most likely Dragon Ravine, and Wyver Buster's effect will add Collapse Serpent to hand. Ravine it is. Player activates Ravine, using Ravine's effect, pitching Starlead Safer to add Dragooney Remus to hand. Remus will discard itself to add another Dragon Ravine to hand. And then Remus will summon itself back from the graveyard. And Remus will then be linked off to make Guard Dragon Pisty. Romulus will attempt to use its effect, but will be hit by a second Imperm. Collapse Serpent will summon itself by banishing Wyver Buster. Collapse Serpent is banished to summon the Darkness Metal Dragon. Darkness Metal will summon back the Starlead Seyfert. Seyfert will link off into another Striker Dragon. Pisty will then use its effect, summoning Seyfert back from the graveyard to zone link monsters point to. Pisty and Striker will make Delingerous. Then Romulus, Delingerous, and Darkness Metal are all going to link together for Boral and Dragon. They'll activate Dragon Ravine on top of Dragon Ravine, discarding the Magna Rocket to send Rocket Tracer. Boral End will target the Trouble Sunny and negating its effect and summoning back Rocket Tracer. Rocket Tracer will destroy the field spell to summon a Rocket Synchron. Rocket Tracer and Starlight Saphert will link together to make Borreload Savage. Borreload Savage will equip Romulus onto itself. Player will attempt to use Triple Sand's effect, but it is negated for the rest of the turn. Borreload and Borrel End will both swing direct. Player activates Live Twin Home, pitching Frost to summon out Lil-La. Lil-La will attempt to use her effect. The opponent will use Borrel End, summoning back Rocket Tracer, and Lil-La is negated. They'll move to battle and attempt to swing with Lil-La over Rocket Tracer. Or attempt to swing over Rocket Synchron. Rocket Tracer will use its effect to destroy Rocket Synchron to summon a Silver Rocket Dragon. Then Lil-La will swing over Silver Rocket, and during the end phase, Silver Rocket will use its effect for being destroyed to summon Rocket Recharger. Dragon player draws Chaos Space for turn and will use Borreload's effect, targeting their own Rocket Recharger, summoning back Rocket Synchron. Player will make Chaos Ruler using Rocket Recharger and Rocket Tracer. Sir, please, they're already dead. They'll add a Chamber Dragon Maid to hand. Summon Chamber Dragon Maid, who adds Dragon Maid Hospitality. Rocket Synchron and Chaos Ruler will sync together for Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss. Chaos Ruler will banish a Light and a Dark to summon itself back. Archfiend Abyss will negate the effect of the Sunny Snitch. He will go Crash with Chamber versus Lil-La, and then we'll swing for game. Alright, let's close out of that. Replay versus Day of Dragons. Let's check this out. So we have Respawn Boy playing here, using Branded Despia. Opening Foolish Burial, you send away Despian Tragedy. Tragedy's effect will then activate, adding an Ad Libitum to hand. Summon Alibur the Jester of Despia. Opponent activates Max C. No response to Max C. You add Branded Fusion to hand. Activate Branded Fusion. Sending away an Albaz and a Dramaturge. Making Lubellion. Lubellion will pitch another Fallen of Albaz to fuse itself and Fallen of Albaz to make Mirror Jade. Set Branded in red and pass. Opponent summons Starlight Saphert. Shotgun the Mirror Jade effect to banish it. Opponent activates Quick Launch. Activate Branded in red in response, targeting Dramaturge. Dramaturge is added back to hand. Then fused with the Ad Libitum and the Mirror Jade for Guardian Chimera. Quick Launch will summon Rocket Tracer. Chimera's effect will activate, as will Ad Libitum, targeting Mirror Jade, and Dramaturge's effect. Rocket Tracer will use its effect in response, targeting itself. Rocket Tracer pops itself to summon Silver Rocket. Dramaturge summons itself. Ad Libitum summons Mirror Jade. And Chimera will pop the Silver Rocket and draw 2. Wyver Buster summons itself by banishing 1. Brings out Striker Dragon. Striker Dragon will use its effect. Wyver Buster will chain. Dramaturge will negate the effect of Striker. Wyver Buster will add Collapse Serpent. Collapse Serpent summons by banishing Wyver Buster. Collapse Serpent is banished by Mirror Jade. Opponent surrenders. Very good interruptions. I know I said probably not. Let's just work through some of these because I got a couple of minutes. Also, I'd like to get the video to an hour for consistency's sake. More Branded Despia. Love it. It's the deck that got me to plat. Opponent activates Card of Consonance, pitching White Stone of Legend. White Stone of Legend will add Blue Eyes White Dragon to hand. Who activates Piercing the Darkness, reveals the blue eyes in their hand to summon the Abyss Dragon, then activates Chaos Form, discarding Spirit Dragon. For Chaos Max Dragon. They end their turn. An impressive board for a Blue Eyes, which doesn't say much. Fright for Patchwork, activated to add Polymerization and Edgem Chain. Allure of Darkness. Banishing Despian Tragedy. Tragedy's effect will activate, adding Alibur to hand. Summon Alibur. Alibur adds Branded Lost to hand. Activate Branded Lost if fusions can't be negated. Activate Branded Fusion. Fusing Comedy with Fallen of Albaz for Lubellion. Branded Lost will allow you to add a card. Lubellion's effect will activate, pitching the Edgem Chain for cost. Lubellion fuses with Fallen of Albaz for Mirror Jade. Branded Lost will add Mercurier to hand. Edgem Chain will add another Fright for Patchwork to hand. Springand's Kit will special summon itself and use its effect to add Theater of the Brand to hand and send back Branded Opening. Activate Branded Red, targeting Comedy. Comedy to fuse Mercurier, Ad Libitum, and Mirror Jade into Guardian Chimera. Chimera's effect will activate, as will Ad Libitum and Mercurier. Mercurier will add Albion the Shrouded to hand. Ad Libitum will summon back Mirror Jade. Chimera will pop the Altered Dragon, activate Theater of the Branded, and then Polymerization, fusing Alibur and Kit for Despian Queritus. Theater of the Branded will fuse Fallen of Albaz and Despian Queritus for Albion the Branded. Albion uses its effect, fusing Queritus and Albaz from the graveyard for Predaplant Dragostapelia. Mirror Jade will send away another Albion to send away the Chaos Max Dragon. Albion will send a card, the Branded Sword, to the graveyard, send itself back to the deck, adding Branded Fusion. Swing with all of these wonderful fusion monsters for game. I love fusion. It's my favorite extra deck mechanic. My only critique of that match is you used Mirror Jade for fusion material for Chimera before you used its effect the first time that turn. Alright. Playing your Pendulum Sorcerers. Opponent summons Magician's Rod to add Soul Servant. Activate Soul Servant. Putting Mahad on top of the deck. They set Purple Poison Magician in the Pendulum Zone and pass. Activate Pendulum Call, pitching Purple Poison to add Wisdom Eye and Harmonizing Magician. Activate Spiral Flame Strike to add Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon to hand. Set Purple Poison in the Pendulum Zone and Harmonizing Magician, and then go into a Pendulum Summon. Summon your Wisdom Eye, your Quad Dragon, or Oath Dragon, and Pendulum Dragon. Oath Dragon will add Purple Poison back to hand, who you will normal summon. Then Purple Poison Magician and Wisdom Eye Magician are going to overlay into Time Star Magician. Time Star uses its effect, attaching a unit to add Harmonizing Magician to hand. Moving into battle, Odd Eye swings over Magician's Rod. They reveal their Astrograph Sorcerer, who will summon itself because the card was destroyed. You set Called By and pass. Opponent draws, which is Oracle Mahad. Mahad is summoned. They will use the effect of Soul Servant, banishing itself to draw one. Mahad will swing over Odd Eyes, doubling its attack stat. Time Star Magician will prevent your Odd Eyes from being destroyed. He will swing the Astrograph into your Time Star, but Purple Poison will boost its stats. He will activate Magician's Salvation and set 1. Magician's Salvation will set Eternal Soul also. You draw off a turn, which is Duelist Alliance, which is activated. They activate Dust Tornado, targeting your set Harmonizing Magician, and activating Eternal Soul. Eternal Soul will add a Dark Magic attack to their hand. Dust Tornado's destruction is prevented by Time Star. You summon Harmonizing, who will then sync with Oath Dragon to make Leo the Keeper of the Sacred Tree. Time Star will detach a unit then, adding your Harmonizing Magician back to your hand. You will then Pendulum Summon Harmonizing Magician and another Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon. Harmonizing Magician will bring out a Drago something Magician. You make Ebon Illusion Magician using both Odd Eyes. Ebon Illusion Magician will summon another Dragon Pulse Magician. That's the name. Then Dragon Pulse and your Harmonizing will make a Time Star. Second Time Star. Time Star uses its effect again, adds Gold Crobat Joker to hand. Then both your Time Star Magicians are going to link together into F-Zero Utopic Future. Utopic Future will then be used as material to make Utopic Draco Future. Moving into battle, Leo will swing over Mahad. Mahad's effect will then attempt to activate in the graveyard, but Draco Future will negate it. Draco Future swings direct. This event wasn't bad. Your opponent will activate Water of Life, attempting to bring back Mahad. You will activate Called By, targeting Mahad. They will use Eternal Soul to summon Dark Magician. Called By will get rid of Mahad. They activate Dark Magic Attack, which clues out your Pendulum Zones, but Purple Poison was popped, so you destroy their Eternal Soul, which will destroy their Dark Magician. Draw for turn, it's Foolish Burial. Doesn't particularly matter. Use Ebon Illusion Magician to detach you to summon another Dragon Pulse Magician. Draco Future swings for game. Alright. I want to check out longer duels. Alright. Oh, we got whites and King of Skull Servants. Nice. Opponent activates Cybernetic Realm, adding Chimera to hand. They activate Cybernetic Horizon, pitching Chimera and sending away Core, which adds Cannon to hand, and sends Cyber End Dragon to the graveyard. Chimera being sent will send away Keel. Cannon will send itself to add another Chimera to hand. Claw will then send itself to add another Cyberdark Realm to hand. Opponent summons Chimera, pitching Realm to add Power Bond to hand. They activate Power Bond. And they do make Cyber Darkness Dragon. Cyber Darkness will equip itself with Cyber End. Then Cyber End will be attributed for Cyber Dark End Dragon. Cyber Dark End will equip itself with Darkness Cannon. For Darkness. Passes to you. Using White Princess effect to discard herself. Yeah, just a free discard. Cyber Dark End is immune to other cards' effects. Normal summon Unizombie. Unizombie's effect will target Cyber Dark, and you would discard White Baking. White Baking was discarded, so you get White Mare and White Prince. Discard White Prince. sending away Skull Servant and Lady in White. Unizombie will send away another White Prince, who will send away another Skull Servant and Lady in White. White Prince will banish itself, Skull Servant and Lady in White to summon King of the Skull Servants. White Princess will discard herself. White Mare's effect will activate, discarding itself, targeting Lady in White, who is special summoned. Unizombie will turn to All Mirage. King of the Skull Servants swings over Cyber Dark End. During the end phase, stats go back to normal. All Mirage sends itself away to protect King of the Skull Servants. The opponent will banish their Cyber Dragon Core. The special summon Nashter. Nashter's effect will summon back Chimera. They normal summon Cyber Dragon Dry, who modifies levels. Then Dry and Nashter, being both level 5, will turn to Cyber Dragon Nova. Nova will then turn to Cyber Dragon Infinity. Infinity was its effect, equipping itself with the King of the Skull Servants. They activate another Cyber Dark Realm to add Claw to hand. Using Claw, discarding Claw to add their third Cyber Dark Realm. Moving into battle, they attempt to swing over your Lady in White, but White Baking will be discarded to protect her. Cyber Dragon Infinity will then use its effect, detaching Nashter to negate the effect of White Baking. Then they will turn Infinity into Zeus. Draw Book of Life return. Activate Book of Life targeting Unizombie and Cyber Dark End Dragon. Unizombie hits the board. Opponent shotguns the Zeus to send everything away. Chimera was sent, which means Edge goes away. White Prince will banish 3 to summon another King of the Skull Servants. They shotgun the Zeus again. Set Greffer and pass. They turn Zeus to attack mode, activate Cyber Dark Realm for the third time, which adds Cannon to hand. They summon Cyber Dragon Dry, uses its effect for no reason. Realm lets an additional normal summon of Horn, who equips itself with Claw. Cannon will discard itself, adding a third Chimera to hand. Moving into battle, Horn swings over Greffer and does piercing damage. All Mirage will summon itself back to the field. Dry runs over All Mirage, and Zeus swings direct. Draw Burial from a different dimension for turn. Activate Burial, return White Prince, Skull Servant, and Lady in White. Use White Prince's effect, banishing itself and the cards just came back for another King of the Skull Servants. At 8,000, it swings over Zeus for game. That was insane. That was Heart of the Cards. Doesn't matter how unaffected by other cards your monster is if it's not big enough. An impressive play, Respawn boy. And speaking of impressive, let's talk about me for a minute. I got this video to over an hour and 3 minutes. Which, actually, I do have to go real soon. So let's shotgun the outro real quick. That's the end of this video. If you caught the stream, like you did, Respawn, and Shotgun Blazing, you caught this one too for a bit. Thanks for watching. If you're catching the replay, thanks for that too. Bye, everyone.